Well, there's a good look at the best crew in the business here at Tech Garage, presented by RockAuto.com. Well, folks, it's time for Garage Ed, and we made it through a lot of components, so this week it's all about the brake booster. And I got one right here you can see out in the open. I'm going to show you how it works, how to diagnose this, and we'll even take a look inside of one. So on our brake booster here, what's happening is it kind of helps with driver assist. So with driver assist, when I push the pedal, with the action of vacuum, we'll take a look inside in a little bit, it's going to go ahead and stop the brake. So I'm going to fire up our board. You see everything spinning there. When I push the brake pedal, it's going to multiply the force into the master cylinder and help me stop that wheel. So when I hit it like that, bam, okay, we start stopping the wheels. So here's the deal. Brake booster needs vacuum. So one of the first checks you can do on your car is you can check vacuum to your brake booster. And that's really easy to do. Just find your brake booster on your vehicle and find the vacuum source coming to the booster. That's the one you want to check because that's what we need to get the vacuum into the booster. I'm going to unplug it, put it on a little vacuum gauge, same thing you would do on your vehicle. And then what we want to do is we want to actually read the vacuum gauge. So let me get it in there real good. There we go. All right, and you can see here we have about 20 inches of mercury. That's great. Now you want anywhere from 15 to about 26 inches of mercury. That's normal vacuum. If you had a lack of vacuum, you would have a lack of assist when you went to push the brake pedal, so you would have to find that. Now what's going on inside of there? Well, brake booster's pretty cool, and in true Tech Garage fashion, I'm going to pull one apart. It's vacuum actuated. It's busted into two sides. You can have a vacuum suspended booster or you can have an atmospheric suspended booster. Doesn't much matter, but here's the deal. When you have vacuum, it's going to pull on one side and it's going to move to the other side. So think about this. If the master cylinder is on this side, what you're going to have is vacuum entering here, and that vacuum is an absence of pressure. So I got 14 psi here, 0 on that side, helps you pull. Now if you have an atmospheric suspended booster, you have both sides, and I let vacuum enter here. So it just depends on how it's built, but check this out. This is really cool. Let me pull this guy apart, and you can look inside of here. There's this giant diaphragm, and what this does, it actually separates the atmospheric side from the vacuum side. You guys all have heard it. You push the pedal and you hear, well, what's going on? Atmospheric pressure is entering through a little filter right here on this end, and it's going inside the booster, and it's allowing it to pull it as driver assist happens. That's a brake booster inside. Now you can also have what's called a hydro booster. A hydro booster is right here. Now a hydro booster does the same thing, but it uses power steering to get the job done. So I can basically just break this in half for you, make a simple illustration. If this thing was broken in half, I let power steering come in one side, which is perhaps 1500 psi, and 0 on the other. Shoot, it's going to help you push the brakes. Now another important piece of that booster is the check valve. The check valve is located right here. Now what the check valve does, it actually holds a vacuum in the booster in case the engine fails. Why do you want to do that? Well, you want at least 3 emergency stops. So you pump the pedal once, twice, and 3 times. That's why on that 3rd time your pedal gets very, very hard. It's very difficult to push. Now on our hydro booster, you have what's called an accumulator right here. This actually holds the power steering fluid in case your engine fails. Couple diagnostics. Vacuum booster, we already talked about vacuum. This one here, this is bolted up to the master cylinder. So think about this. If you have a leak, you have to determine if it's power steering fluid or brake fluid. It could be your primary piston on your master cylinder, or it could be coming from this side. So just check it, make sure which one you have. Now, you know what? That's some pretty cool tests, but you can do a pedal check right out in the driveway. And our local expert, Dave, he's over there doing a pedal test right now.
There's a simple test you can do to make sure your booster is working properly, and it's called a pedal check. It's really easy to do. All you have to do is sit in the car with the ignition off, the key out if you have a keyed ignition, and you pump the pedal 3 or 4 times until it, well, as long as it takes to get it rock hard. And there it is. So we've got a hard pedal there. So with your foot still on the pedal, you want to either put the key in the ignition and turn it, or in this case, we will press the button to start the car. And when you do, the pedal should drop toward the floor, not all the way down, but it should drop slightly. And if it does, that means you're getting assist from the booster. Let's check it out. Start it up. There you go. Pedal drop just slightly. That means our booster is working properly. Now, if you end up with a pedal that remains hard, that means you have a problem with the vacuum or you have a problem with your booster, and you're going to need a little more work. Do not go anywhere because we've got something cool for you next. We are cooking up something you're going to like here on Tech Garage, presented by RockAuto.com.